So, Tottenham Hotspur, I have said Tottenham will win the Europa League. Contrary to belief from videos you might see out there about me that have said that that I don't think we will win it, this is not true. I've made videos saying we will win the Europa League. I have made videos saying that we will get through against Bodo, just that I think it might be a tricky game because it's a tough place to go to, as per their European record over the last 3-4 years. But why do I think Tottenham are going to win the Europa League? Well, quite simply, for a number of reasons. One, I don't think the standard is great. I don't think the standard is great. Now, people will think that's negative. It's not negative. I think the fact that Tottenham and Man U are about to get to a Europa League final, and the fact that both teams are dreadful in the Premier League and sitting in 14th and 16th respectively, tells you that the standard isn't amazing. Second of all, the Champions League teams don't drop down, which is a big help for getting along the way. It means that the calibre of teams you're going to be playing are the calibre of teams at your own level or worse. So there's a second reason. Third reason, I think we've got the luck of the Irish. I've said this before. I think we've got the luck of the Irish. I think at the moment, we all know what's happening in the league. But in the Europa League, we seem to play different. We seem to set up very different. Now, this baffles me for so many reasons. One, when I see how we played against Frankfurt, then when I see how we set up against Bodo Glimt, for example, it makes me wonder, why then have we got 19 Premier League losses? Why don't we set up like this for the Premier League? However, that's a conversation for another day. So, part of the big reason I think we will win the Europa League moving forward is one, because of James Maddison. Now, James Maddison for me has had a lot of abuse, a lot of criticism this season. But for me, I've always said it, he's our most creative player, he's the best technical footballer at the football club, and I think he's our biggest leader as well. I actually don't think Sonny and Romero are leaders, I think they're liabilities. Now, that's not me saying I think he's a world-class captain, but I do think of everybody, he's the one that comes out to the camera, says it as it is, he's truthful, he's honest. You see the videos with him and some of the younger players where he's egging them on. And for me, I think he is the closest thing we've got to a captain. Now, again, people will listen to this and change what I've said. I think we need leaders. I think we need a new captain. I think we need more leaders at the club. But from what we've got, I think this is the best. Now, James Maddison, for me, he's the one player that when he plays, he knits it together. He knits together the midfield and the forward line. Now, I think he's been criminally played in the wrong position for the last 2 years. This is a playmaker. This is a playmaker that wants to get on the ball in that 30-yard space outside of the 18-yard box. He wants to get the ball. He's already scanned the pitch from left to right, and he knows what he's going to do with it. Is he going to spray it right? Is he going to spray it left? Is he going to play a through ball? Is he going to have a shot? This is a guy that knits the game together. But too often with our chaotic tactics, should I say, in the Premier League, he's having to drop to the halfway line to get the ball because everybody is on top of him. The right back's inverted in his position, the left back's inverted in his position, the central midfielders are in his position, the forwards are dropping his position, the wingers are coming inside. And what you noticed the other night was we didn't do that. And the fact that we didn't do that allowed James Maddison to run that game. It allowed James Maddison the space to get on the ball and dictate. It allowed him that space to run over the top twice. Through balls over the top. One, he couldn't quite get on target. The other, he brought it down magnificently and squeezed it home. Now, he's not normally allowed to do that in the Premier League games when we're playing this chaotic style. So for me, if you go to these tactics, if we play like we did the other night with a 4-2-3-1, with the, again, sorry, everyone knows I hate this, with the double pivot of Bentancur and Bissouma, it allows everybody to play their actual game. The other night, what was telling for me as well was not just Maddison allowed to play his own game, but Udogie and Porro weren't inverting. They were actually allowed to go on the outside of their wingers, which is what they were at their previous clubs. And I loved it. Loved seeing Udogie get down the left-hand side, overlapping fullback, whipping crosses in. That's what we brought him to do. That's what he did at Udinese. That's what Porro did at Sporting Lisbon. But yet, with Spurs, we've had them playing some sort of inverted ball, which just isn't what they're meant to be doing. Also, I mentioned there about Bentancur and Bissouma in central midfield. Now, Bentancur and Bissouma, for me, are good midfielders. I don't go overboard. I don't think they're amazing. But what I do think is that they are not number sixes, which is how they're normally deployed by Ange. And in this game where they weren't deployed as number sixes, they were deployed as box-to-box midfielders that get back and get forward, snuff out danger, drive forward with the ball. That is what they do. And I thought Bentancur was very good, but I thought Bissouma was excellent. And again, another player takes a lot of hate. But when he's actually played in his number 8 and he's allowed to snuff out danger and drive with the ball, rather than being a DM that has to start off play, he was excellent. And that's what we saw at Brighton. And this is where I just don't understand Tottenham Hotspur at all. Why don't we play like this week in, week out? Why don't we do the 4-2-3-1 with a double pivot and a playmaker, wide men that stay wide and fullbacks that overlap? I just don't understand it. And maybe if we did that more, I wouldn't, as a fan, and this is again only my opinion, as a fan, I wouldn't be so much on his case for the erratic, chaotic football that's caused us 19 league defeats. I don't think this style of play would cause us 19 league defeats. But listen, that leads me to the title of the video. Bissouma and Maddison, for me, are absolutely pivotal. Now, Bissouma, bit of a shock one for me to say that, right, because he's not really been in favour. But with Bergvall being out injured, Bergvall, by the way, a good player, a player that needs to develop, a player that needs coaching. I think a lot of our fans, we're doing what we normally do. We're putting them from there to there in 1 year, but a good player. But I think when Bissouma plays like he did the other night, I think he's the best midfielder at the club when he plays like he did the other night. So, will we play like that? Because if we play like that, if Bissouma and Maddison can show that sort of form in the second leg against Bodo, and then the final, which looks like, let's be honest, it looks like it's going to be Man United, there is no reason we can't win this tournament. As I said months ago, I think Spurs will win this tournament. I've seen a lot of videos made about me saying, Sava said we'd lose to Frankfurt, Sava said we'd lose to Bodo. This is simply not true. This is just me putting the record straight. It's not true. I've not said it. Yeah, I said Frankfurt away would be difficult, and I think it was difficult. We defended very well. Bodo away, I've said it's going to be difficult. I've never said they're going to beat us. So I would ask this favour from many people. When you see these things said about me online and people are saying that I've said we're going to lose and I want to lose and I'm negative, please actually watch what I say first. Because what people are doing is taking a 30-second snippet from a 3-hour live stream or a 3-hour, 2-hour video, whatever it may be, and they're running with that rather than what I've actually said. Me having analysis on Bodo Glimt saying they're tough away from home doesn't mean I'm being negative. That's me looking at it as a football fan that likes to look at tactics. I like to look at data. I like to look at facts. And factually, Bodo are a very difficult team to beat at home. They've lost one game at home in Europe this season. And they've beaten some very good teams there as well in the last, well, this year alone. But in the last 2-3 years, they've had some very, very good results at their home ground. So please don't listen to these people that are lying and telling you that I've said we're going to lose, that I've said we're not going to win the Europa League. I fully expect Tottenham to win the Europa League. I think we've had a lovely run. Yes, you can only beat who's in front of you, but I think we've had a nice run, and I can't see why we shouldn't win it. Now, I don't sit there as a fan and go, 100% we're winning it. But we should win it. Yes, we should. We've had Frankfurt, they're decent, but since Marmoush left, not quite the same. We've had Alkmaar, meh. Bodo Glimt, meh. And now we're going to have Man United in the final. Why shouldn't we win it? Why would I sit there and say we're not going to win it? For me, I'm going to be more embarrassed if we don't win it than if we do. Than people saying, oh, Sava doesn't want to win it, so he's correct. So please, guys, have your own opinions. Please don't listen to people that make these clickbait titles lying about what I've actually said when I haven't. Okay? I like to look at the game. I like to analyse. Okay? Now, I'll say it very loud and clear for anyone who's listening at the back. I think Tottenham will have a tricky game in Bodo Glimt, but I do think we'll get through. Whether we draw, whether we lose, whether we win, I think we will have done enough to get through to the final. And then I fully expect to beat Man United. It will be tough, but we've beaten them 3 times this year. There's no reason now for Spurs not to win the Europa League. However, does that change my mind on Ange? Unfortunately not, but that doesn't matter. I want Spurs to win the Europa League more than I don't like Ange. I hope that helps. I hope people can now watch that and see this is coming out of my mouth, not somebody that's lying about me. This is coming out of my mouth. If you want to know anything, come on my show. I'll answer the question right there and then for you. But please, don't listen to these people that are lying and using my name to further their channel. Take care, everyone. Spurs will win the Europa League.